John, I'll call this meeting to order. We're going to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. We will work together to better our town. We all have an equal voice. We may disagree, but we will do so with civility and respect because in the end, we are all neighbors. Okay, we're going to start with announcements for today. Next week's program on March 23rd, the lingerie lady has 27 registrants. So I'm hoping to get it closer to 40. So if you know of any of your friends who would like to come, that would be wonderful. All right. Today I submitted a check request to have her honorarium paid for $100. We talked about that previously, and everyone was in agreement that Sue Morris was a worthy candidate of $100 request. So I put that into John just now. March and April volunteer schedule. As we stated in our annual report at the end of 2022, we would like to be open Tuesday through Sunday with an evening on Thursday. Now we are struggling to get our current hours covered due to various scheduling conflicts with our current volunteers and things that have come up. So if you are willing or able to take an additional shift or fill in Tuesday, I'd also like to extend our weekend hours. I know in the past we've talked about maybe changing them from like 10 to 2. So if we can't get 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock filled for the weekend, maybe we think about just shifting it to a different time. But if you're able to take a shift, it would be greatly appreciated. So please email me if you can.
Is there anything more on high school kids on the weekend?
Yeah, I had a couple high school kids come in. The only thing is that if they're under 18, they cannot be here by themselves. So the one volunteer, Andrew, he is 18. He's been here a couple times on Sundays, but with spring extracurriculars, they aren't as available as they were like in January. A lot of them some of them are involved with the musical, and I know that is coming up or is happening right now. So maybe towards the summer, we could have some more opportunities for some weekend people, but
I haven't told you yet, but you and I have a meeting with Latasha Durda and TJ Salva, the principal and vice principal of high school.
oh, wonderful.
Next week.
Okay.
Now, do we, if we do have someone under 18
Yeah.
Being supervised by adults, does that adult need parents?
They do.
Yes.
Yes. And
Any
on
of us have clearance.
what's that? I do.
Mine run up for the.
Okay.
And then.
Well, that's something for nonprofit organizations that we can look at, be able to get the National Volunteer Center on Sports has a program by which for situations like this, that they'll do it for free.
Well, I think if you just go to the state website and say that you're using these clearances to be a volunteer in the community, it is free.
I did that.
Yeah, because I had to do that for my daughter's school.
Okay.
So I'll look into that and send everyone that link because that
We should all have it anyway, because we're dealing with kids from there.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay. If you noticed, we got a small dumpster in the side driveway over here. So thank you to Jeff and Public Works for that. That was extremely exciting last week when that arrived. There were some fixtures in the basement that were in disrepair, that had never been used, that are not necessarily functional for what we're trying to do here. They were acquired from when was it Kmart or Sears closed?
Kmart.
When Kmart closed. So they've been in the basement for 5 years and have never been used. So We sent those away and we have tons of room downstairs now. And just doing some spring cleaning in the basement, reorganizing, things like that. There are a few things I would like a second opinion on, that are not accessioned, that are objects downstairs, that do not relate to our mission or vision. So I feel no need to hang on to them. So after this meeting, if you all want to come downstairs and just take a second look, I didn't want to make an executive decision by myself and just disposing of this stuff. But anything that, we didn't throw away anything that was accessioned, and no like objects of the collection.
Nothing that was cataloged. as
Correct.
part of Collection.
Yes, there's a different procedure for disposing or de-exceptioning items, and I have no reason to do that at this point. So,
Can I ask one question?
yeah,
Do you think any of the stuff that's left has any value at all? If it doesn't, that's fine.
you mean to like literally sell?
Yeah, it's like there's something that municipalities use, it's like a bid site.
Oh, really?
So if it ever made any sense, you had something you're like, I have no need for this, but maybe we get $50 for it. Yeah,
Okay,
we can talk about that.
okay. At this point, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
But you
We can talk
you
about
can come downstairs and
Well,
look
there-
at the stuff.
There's a lot of stuff that we have downstairs that are books that. I mean, quite frankly,
Yeah. It
I'll
was.
tell you, I wouldn't expect there to be, but if there's anything you can cross it.
Yeah.
there's a trailer,
Things like that, yeah.
that's 1989. They were used for something.
I know nothing.
Yeah, but I grew up in the Mets, and the Jets. I thought the word sucks in the TS.
Oh.
Now you get Aaron Rodgers.
All right.
Yeah.
Technology additions, do you have an update on that, Joe, or was that just a follow-up from
Yeah, I-
her request?
Look, we have been blessed with our relationship with Amazon Prime for back in this account. The microphone that you see, whether it's the working one or not, has been gifted to us. We've had projectors, we've had screens, we have a conference system downstairs, both for a board of directors and for a distance learning conference system that has been donated to us by Amazon Prime. So they've been very, very generous with us, and I'd like to call them out.
Wonderful. Now, Brian, we'd spoken to the technology
Committee.
consultant, the guy who works for the town.
Mhm.
And we were told that we were gonna get at least one new laptop, because the laptops that we have here are very old.
Yeah,
So is there any update on?
I guess my question is when?
When?
Was it Andy?
Yes,
And when did he say that?
in the fall of last year.
Okay, let me figure that out.
Okay,
I'm taking one of the laptops back with me to help him look at it.
one of these ones?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
just-
okay.
we can talk more about it.
Okay, great. April 1st, Stock Array is coming to do the vintage Mac computer game. So far, we have 15 people reserved for that. That's on a Saturday from 1 to 4. So he's gonna do a brief presentation on the history of Apple computers, and then do sort of a demonstration, and he'll have at least a dozen different games that people can play. So I'm personally looking very much forward to that. That should be fun. Our golf outing is scheduled for May 21st. Are there any, oh, sorry, May 20th? Is there anything that we need to take action on right now?
The three of us, actually the four of us, meaning Mr. Ireland, Mr. Coyne, Mr. Faulkner, and myself are chairing that. So we're working together to make sure. We've already gotten to all the people that are gonna donate.
Okay,
We've gotten the Dicks, we've gotten the Dons, we've gotten to BJ's. We've gotten to Sam's Club. All that stuff is done. Now, what we have to concentrate on is redoing the sponsorships, and that's gonna require, but,
okay.
okay.
If there's anything we need to be tasked with, please let us know.
Well, I think Chuck and I, we're gonna put up the tent the next couple of weeks
Mhm.
to make sure that the tent's out, so we have outdoor
Yeah,
experience
awesome.
during the good weather.
Okay.
And,
What notion?
The day after the golf outing, May 21st, is Charters in the Trunk, and that is going to be run by the AAC in our parking lot out here. The AAC did not have a meeting this month, so I will follow up with them in April about any preparations that they need for that, so. Open house for the kids also on May 21st. We're gonna do something similar to what we did last year and have just like the tent up out here, snacks, drinks, that sort of thing, and invite the kids playing over. Now, we did say that there weren't gonna be any soccer games that morning because of this event, so
they're not gonna be here in the morning, they will be here in the afternoon.
in the afternoon, okay, so that'd be an afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we actually went back and talked to the AAC and talked to the soccer club because that's prime time for them.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it's prime time for us to have them on those fields. All they're gonna do is move their morning games to the afternoon and the evening. So we can still have the treasure of the trunk. Then we can still have the exposure to the HCC.
A couple other things I wanted to announce before we get to the public comment section. The coloring book pages that we commissioned Janine March to do, she sent me a semi-final version. There were just like a couple tweaks that I wanted her to do. And then also we're gonna add an illustration. Now this, I just blew this up, so it looks horrible, but she's gonna illustrate the logo as you suggested. And then write like Town of McCandless, like in her little font here. So this will be the back page of the coloring book with our information. And website below, and that'll also give her illustrator credit.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes,
Rather than have the township logo, having the heritage cultural center logo.
well, I thought about that, however. With us sort of changing our image in the coming year, I didn't want to do anything,
I understand, that's the
Yeah.
same point that Kevin was making.
and we're on the front cover.
Oh, okay, then we're
Yeah.
fine. We're fine.
So this is the front. So I brought some copies of it here if you'd like to take a look. I'm so happy with the way this turned out, and I called Leah Chanel today and told her about it, and she's like, oh, that sounds so great. She's like, can we have some to sell? So of course you can. So as soon as they're done, I'm gonna take her some as well, and they have an Easter egg hunt on April 1st, so. if I could- Yes, that's what I wanted to ask. I mean, I'm thinking like. Under $5, I don't know,
I'd say $3.
$3, okay, that's what I thought too.
Cause you know what, you wanna make it attractive enough. Cause you know, once the kids get it,
Yeah,
it's gonna spark something.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, you know,
and we
you
can
wanna
have
make-
coloring contests with the elementary schools, like I'm
You know what,
so excited.
I was talking with Mr. Valley, that there's a possibility we might be able to do some sort of competition that we're.
Oh, great,
The reason why,
Actually, not right off the bat.
and the reason why I suggested this seal be put in there is because the seal is a little bit of a history lesson
yeah,
in itself, you know, it's pretty cool. It has the, of course, the 1851 date, the trolley, the oil derrick and that's, you know, that's really, you can teach people about the history of McCandless just through the seal, which is really pretty cool.
yeah,
So,
and I've already been thinking about new additions, so if you have like another iconic place that you would love to see illustrated, please send those ideas to me.
Would that go with this, are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, we could have the Potter's Pond, that'd be pretty.
I think it would be really cool.
We could do like all the terms.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be so fun. Okay,
Yeah.
she's gonna have a lot of work from us.
Oh, yeah. Good. That's fantastic.
Yeah. The technical support in that project, Avenue Historical Society is, going to have a small display here beginning April 1st. I met with Tracy Ferguson, who's the president of the Historical Society a couple of weeks ago. She brought some information, some photographs. So we're gonna primarily highlight the Camp Horn, which was like Horn's department store, like retreat for their employees. And I don't know, there, it's not that same.
The drive-in was a retreat for high school kids when I was old.
We don't have to highlight that. And then what was the name of the mental health hospital there? Dixmont?
Dixmont.
Is it Dixmont?
Dixmont,
Yes.
it's down along
So they have a
65.
lot of Dixmont information, and she said that actually her father was the last superintendent or a director of psychiatry for Dixmont, so she like grew up there, so it's fascinating to me. So I'm excited to put that up in April.
Now, that goes with what, I mean.
The Avonworth Historical Society, they're just coming to put some things in their cases, in our cases. This Saturday is National History Day at the Heinz History Center. If you are available to be a judge, they are still looking for judges for this weekend. It is a wonderful program. Steve Bullock invited us to be judges last year, and I went, and Saturday is for middle school students and Sunday is for high school students, and they present various things from papers, websites, dramatic representations and plays, and it's really cool. So as a history dork, I loved it. So I can't wait to go back. So if you're available to be a judge this Saturday or Sunday,
People are looking for.
I'm not entirely sure, but each group of students, yeah,
I guess what I was thinking, I wonder if you'd want to open up to the retirees or Malagan.
I mean,
There's a peak that goes around, but
yeah, at this point, I think it's probably a little late to do much of anything. It's on Saturday.
I'll do it. Are you gonna go down?
Yeah, I'll be there on Saturday.
I'll go on Saturday.
Okay, all right, I'll send you. Oh, where are you?
Well,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oops. Okay, the lecture series updates, I just have a couple updates about some people I've spoken with to get them on the schedule. As I mentioned at last meeting, I have been talking to Reed Ebner over at Franklin Park about their 200th anniversary. They have something on their schedule for March 27th, which I believe is a Monday, at Blueberry Hill Park. But I haven't seen anything yet, and I reached out to Reach last week to see if he needed our help doing anything, and haven't heard anything back. So TBD on that one.
my understanding is that they're just putting on 4 or 5 things on display.
Yeah.
That it's going to be a very, very, very small representation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they're gonna put it on in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, they're only gonna have it up for like a few hours one night, and then they have to take it down. So, but they're still planning on coming and bringing their stuff for display here.
That's for 3 minutes, right?
Yes. The EAC is going to have a speaker series here at the HCC on May 16th in the evening. That's a Tuesday. They came and did a presentation last fall about water, and I believe this one's about solar power again. So no need for us to do anything. They're just going to use this space.
was that well attended last time?
Yeah, they did. They had about 20-25 people. in there.
The other thing with that, Abby, is the EAC is having a cleanup.
Yep.
And I mean, that's for everybody that's online too. They're having a neighborhood cleanup, April 15th and April 22nd.
Mhm.
That Mr. Casey had asked me to mention in their meeting.
Yeah, so you can register online to be a volunteer for that as well. It's 2 Saturday mornings. You don't have to do it. I spoke with Scott Becker from the PA Trolley Museum and asked him to come back in September 28th. To do another presentation about the Harmony line. That was one of our most attended, and that one filled up really quickly, and I heard a lot of comments about people not being able to register for that one, so I thought that would be a good one to bring back 2 years in a row. So he's gonna come on September 28th, and they have a lot of renovations that are brand new this year, and I don't know that they're open yet, they're closed in like January, February, maybe they're just about to reopen, but they have a lot of new information coming out. So that'll be sort of a new version of it. I also spoke with Bob Skirtich, who came here pre-2020 and gave a presentation about the Nike missile sites. And he is confirmed for August 17th. For a presentation. August 17th, yeah. So. Those are what's on the schedule. If you have any suggestions, I reached out to. There's a guy who does a presentation about Western Penitentiary I've spoken to, waiting for him to get back to me. I know we've reached out to Mr. McFeely, so hopefully we
We
can.
still haven't had a problem with that.
Okay,
I mean, he's, wait till he comes.
I emailed Bob Stakely, who is our HCAP person from the Heinz History Center, to ask if he had any resources. I'm sure he has tons of resources, and also I think he does presentations himself. So he could be a possibility. And then I reached out to LaRoche, and I need to call the Pittsburgh Diocese Archives. I didn't get an answer last night because I called after they were closed. And I would like, if anyone knows the historian of the Sisters of Divine Providence or Vincentian, like,
Well, there's another one too. There's the Benedictine sisters.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a possibility. I'm not sure what that looks like.
Well,
And
the
also
Benedictine
with
sisters,
LaRoche.
you can call them directly. They're still around.
They are, okay.
And they have merged with two other orders. So the Benedictine sisters have moved to Ohio.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're, I think they still have a retirement village that's here in
Mhm.
Pittsburgh area.
Mhm.
I think, I seem to think that I saw it in my travels to the weeks ago.
There's one Baker, there's one in Bakersfield.
Bakerstown, that's exactly.
Oh, really?
When closed down, something goes down in Austin, yeah, there.
Okay. And then I've been doing a weekly Facebook post about who was. And do we think that that would have enough interest to be a program?
Yeah, actually, I think it can be expanded, and I wanted to talk to you about that offline,
Okay.
because, look, we had talked with Mr. Wolfsworth from Channel 4.
Yeah.
And we had talked with Channel 11. Channel 2 is coming out with their own show called Talk Pittsburgh.
Okay.
It's gonna be on every day at 2 o'clock. I've just floated the idea to their executive producer, Dickie Nasser, that we do a who was segment for the Pittsburgh region.
Mhm.
I think it would be really cool.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's enough material that you can keep busy for the next several years.
Mhm.
So, I'll let you know what happens, but I didn't mean to take up part of the meeting.
No, that's fine. So do we think that if I held a program here, that would be interesting enough to bring in people?
Absolutely.
Okay. Worth a shot anyway.
Mhm.
Okay.
What would that be about?
Who was? It's called Who Was,
Oh,
and
no.
it's who the major players were in the history of McCandless and of the region.
That'd probably be fall at the very earliest.
And we get some other stuff. So,
Okay. Let me see. One more important thing, the Dips car. I was supposed to go to Ligonier to get the remainder of the frame of the car last weekend, but that had to be rescheduled to March 25th. So Mike Funyak and I will be retrieving the remainder of the Dips car and then bringing it back here in his brother's truck. So it's gonna have to sit outside alongside the building. It's, yeah, I don't know, maybe you could give me some advice on like what we should put it on.
No, I don't think it should be outside.
Well, where,
I'll give you space. I have a shed.
Okay.
I think that it's, and I think you would agree with me. It's a historic artifact. And yes, I know what we've already talking,
I know,
but the fact of the matter is that you don't want it to deteriorate.
yeah,
from what's good.
yeah,
So I'll give you space in my shed.
okay,
I have a 3-bay shed.
okay.
You've seen.
So that's happening. Basement, so I was gonna ask John this too, and I just, if I have your approval. There are some things I would like to spend, some money on, for the basement, or if we can get them donated elsewhere, that would be wonderful. But, we need some more banker's boxes, or the Gaylord archive boxes that we use to keep, documents in downstairs. We need more of those. We also need a vacuum here. Unfortunately, one of the frames in the Joe's Corner fell off last night. And it fell onto the floor and the glass shattered, so, Ann Newman like brings in her own vacuum to vacuum. Yeah, so it's time we need, yeah, it's time we get a vacuum. And then also for downstairs, we need a shop vac for like the bigger, sort of crusty stuff. It looks like there's a message on the, Zoom, if anyone can look at that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that with John and me.
Okay,
The message is that Trish Clunan has 10 banker boxes at least that she can drop off. What I think she was about to say right now.
yes, please,
Trish coming through, yeah.
yeah, right.
All right.
That was all that I had as far as announcements, addition to what was on, the agenda. Does anyone else have anything to add?
Maybe it's outside of here, but I'll just let everybody know we're doing a ribbon cutting for the Devlin Park.
We'll get through that.
Gotcha.
Okay, right.
Just do that down there now. Sorry, just popped in my head.
Okay, is there any public comment on agenda items? No, anyone online? No, okay,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
Second motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Reports on committees, sign subcommittee, Chuck?
We got our we needed to get 2 more estimates to the town. We got those estimates secured. We're gonna present those to the committee, tomorrow night, Joe?
Well, we've already presented them to Mr. Mallon. We're going to present them to Jerry Hoffman from the MIDA tomorrow.
Okay. Once we submit those, we should be able to get a check for the deposit for them to start the design. Well, to start the building design.
Awesome. Is MIDA having a meeting this?
So I have a meeting too.
Okay. Great, thank you, Chuck, for following up on that. Tamburitzins.
Yes, I'd like to announce that we've had some conversations with the Tamburitzins about, in the spirit of expanding our cultural reach and expanding what our offerings would be. I've made some inroads to the Tamburitzins about having a program here in June. And not here, but at Carson Middle School, and actually making it a fundraiser. Okay. I have spoken with some people at the school district that assure me that we will be able to get the facilities for a cut rate. But I think that the Tamburitzins are a great example of the kind of groups that we should be bringing in to expand our diversity. And along with that is the next thing. I spoke with the Black Empowerment Project and I spoke with WQED today, waiting on Rick Seaback to call me back, and Tim Stevens to call me back from the NAACP. I'd like to do a program here on the Hill District in its heyday. The Hill District in its heyday is not what you see today. It was a vibrant community before eminent domain came in to build this, what is now, what used to be the Civic Arena. I believe there's a huge story to be told there, and there's the music, the entertainment, the inclusion. and the integration
Yeah.
was something special. Not only in the Hill District, but also in East Liberty. So I would like to pursue those two programs and see what we can come up with. I think it's important. It's important not just for the people that live here, but for the kids to understand that that existed here.
I think it's a worthy project. I'm just wondering though, I mean, is the Hill District in our purview? That's all. That's some.
It's a regional thing.
Yeah.
And it's an example of. It's an example of inclusion and integration. I mean,
As far as I can tell, Pat'sman Hospital was in the Hill District.
It was.
Here in the 60s. That would be the major connection.
Yeah.
but I see Dan's point. But I also see that, you know, just saying that we're gonna have it because Pat'sman Hospital was in the hills. Right.
Yeah.
My thing is, it's part of our history. It's part of the history of the people that live here now. Because, you know, when you think about McCandless, most of the people that live here or that are coming here are migrating from the city. So I think it's relevant. It's relevant to where we are today in our society. I think it's relevant to show where we've come from.
There was one presentation I saw, and this was sort of the same thing. It was music from the Hill District going all the way back 100 years.
Yeah.
Of all the different performers, I mean, no performers. Different from
I mean,
others.
and it was white, it was black, it was,
Yeah,
it was all different races, all different, you know, nationalities.
mhm.
And it was,
I can't think of the name.
that place was wild. It was like little New York because it was open all night long. So,
Lots of numbers happening too.
yes. But they had businesses.
Yeah.
And I mean, all that went away with the eminent domain of the 1960s. So I'd like to visit that.
Yeah.
You know, I need a head on from everybody here.
Can I make a question? Thanks, Joe. I love the idea of broadening our history with Pittsburgh's history for sure. Just curious if this would become a redundancy, like before moving forward too aggressively to speak with some folks at the August Wilson Center, et cetera. They may have already acquired the wealth of information you're talking about, might be willing to share a northern regional, like pull out from their collections kind of thing, and have a focus here, but work in partnership with someone already established that has the support of that community as well.
That's a great idea. And Trish, but let me just tell you that, you know, I grew up here. Yeah, I went to Oakland to go to Pitt. Okay. My first start was with somebody that I actually knew from Pitt, and that was Tim Stevens. So, you know, I'm in the infancy of this, but I wanted to make sure that everything that I do, that I have complete transparency with this board. So I want it, I mean, it's the place to start, was where I started, where I knew to start. So I went through the whole house. I went to the Black Empowerment Project because I knew Tim Stevens a long time ago. That's all.
Good.
Are you looking for a presentation of the?
Yeah, I'd like to see a presentation. And you know, there was a film that was done by Rick Seaback on public television. I'd like to expand upon that. And whether we get somebody from the August Wilson Center, or we even get Rick Seaback out here to do a presentation. I honestly think if we got Rick Seaback out here, this place isn't big enough to hold the crowd that we could get there. So, you know, I think it's something that would have to be moved to the Powers Room or have to be moved to one of the auditoriums that we have locally.
I work with some people who've done a bit of work with this topic. I can speak on it, but then that's a possibility. And I also have a student in my oral history class that's going to interview some folks, about the Hill District, so that might fall into it too, so.
Well, I mean, I'll go as fast or as slow as we want to go. I mean, I don't think we're in a rush to put this up. I want to do it right.
Yeah,
Fine.
Because
It's a long time.
it is, I mean, it's a sensitive matter.
yeah.
I want to make sure that we do it correctly and we do it justice.
And we have a connection from people in the Hill, I mean, not.
Well, the Black Empowerment Project is in the Hill House. And that's Tim Stevens, he's the former president of the NAACP.
Yeah.
Gabby, you want to talk about our
Yes.
presentation to Shaler Township?
Yep, a couple of weeks ago, Joe and I went to the Shaler Township Board of Commissioners Parks and Recreation Committee meeting.
Board commissions were there.
All the commissioners were there, and we made a presentation. We brought our 2022 year in review packet and showed them and just told them about our ideas for future intergovernmental agreements and working together. They are planning to build a community center, sort of across the street, where they demolished an elementary school. And, as Joe pointed out, you know, communities build community centers and we have a heritage center. So, we would be the place to store their historic documents. So they all seemed very interested. We left the packet with them and, we'll just follow up with them.
They
as
have,
we go along.
they have their next meeting next Monday.
Okay.
So we'll be following up after that.
Great. Dan,
All right, yeah, okay, so the oral history project, it's a slow train, but it is coming. I spent probably the last year and a half kind of learning the craft of doing oral history. And I also have I turned it into an elective course at Shady Side. And that just, I just began that this spring. Just actually, we're in our second week, and I have 6 seniors who are going to be doing, their different oral histories in this. But I do have one that might do that's going to do the Hill District that might fold into what we do there. But otherwise, I've done a couple of interviews, and I plan on doing by the end of this summer, having about a dozen more, at least.
Wow.
That's just my plan. That's not gonna happen. But what I am looking for, though, I am looking for a little bit of help. Maybe, scheduling these interviews and things like that. It takes a lot of time, because you want to do a pre-interview with folks and want to sit them down and do the interview. I'm teaching at Shady Side. It's a very taxing, really just very, very busy. So I haven't been able to do much with it yet.
do you need help finding people?
I've talked to quite a few people so far, and but I haven't been able to really put it all together and schedule people to sit down and do it. So I think what I really need, a little bit of, I just need sort of a partner to help do some of the stuff, do some of the organizing.
Where are you gonna do the official interview, for
This is a great spot.
This
This is like one of the best spots you can find to do an interview. The lighting's perfect,
oh,
the sound is great, and really with the interviews, the sound is really, the video doesn't really matter too much. It's the sound that matters
okay,
a
yeah.
great deal. And the fact that this is quiet, you're not going to get unexpected interruptions. And the sound, and as I don't even need a microphone, actually. I'll probably use a lapel one, but yeah, I've done 2 interviews in this corner over here,
Oh,
and they turned out just beautiful, so.
well, that makes it easier.
Yeah. If people are willing to come out here and sit down here, yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
be glad to help you.
Oh, yeah, great.
I find that fascinating.
Yeah, so, maybe at the end of, I wouldn't mind, I might try to get Mark Woods in here, in the last week of March. Or if I can manage that, and sit him down, I do, you know, I have this very luxurious 2-week spring break, but I'm also grading outlines for my US students for their big research project, and I'm grading DBQs for my sophomore, so my 2 weeks is not as luxurious as my see. I can certainly fit an interview, and I think Mark's the type of guy that he's wondering why I haven't done it so far yet, you know.
What do you do in the interview with Mark on?
Well, yeah, well, I'll interview him about his little museum that he has.
He's a baseball aficionado.
Yeah,
That stuff all the way back from Ralph.
Yeah, I'm more interested in his collection and the reason why he put it together and his experience, and then just as a citizen of the area, you know, what his experiences are there. That's what I did with Bill Avon.
Who is it?
Mark Woods, his father, Robert Woods, was a veteran area that lived at the top of Highland Road. He lives on Ringheiser.
Yeah, he just brought in his dad's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he came in a week later, I guess, no, and he was looking for that, and he's a good guy, and I'd love to sit him down, and I hope he's not frustrated with me at this point. You know, so I'll sit him down. Yeah, really, like with Bill Avon, what I did, he's a gentleman from the Oddfellows, and I talked to him a lot about the Oddfellows, but then I started talking to him about some other things. I mean, take little clips of those, you know, we kind of use them for we could eventually put together
Sound bites.
yeah, sound bites and edit it to do different aspects of life in the Canlis, life in the North Hills, that type of stuff. Yeah, so so Mark's one, and then talking about Shaler. Shaler comes up, and I'm going to mention the name that I bet you this guy knows. Joel DeBaldo.
Of course. Ice cream.
I knows everybody.
The contract.
But Joe, yeah, well, the DeBaldo's on that whole corner.
They did.
And for
Yeah, the little convenience store, they own everything.
My ears.
Yeah, okay.
Joel and his wife, their first daughter was born the same day that my first daughter in McGee Women's Hospital. And I went to high school as well.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes.
we.
we live parallel.
Every time we see one another, it's because we.
Joel's a great guy.
I would look
And Joel actually,
Yeah, if you guys have something lined up, we'll take it.
Okay.
That makes sense?
We did.
I was wrong, Mr. Thank you.
Okay.
but anyway, but Joel
Thanks,
actually,
Brian.
Joel has a sports museum to share. He has a Shaler sports museum, so I'm gonna interview him about his museum.
Are you in?
Oh, yeah.
His father, he never really moves with me.
Well, I went to one of the weddings of one of the sons, okay, married a Gianelli.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's Joel's fault.
I was at the wedding. Oh, yeah. Well, I was there.
But Joel will be a great on time, yeah. So anyway,
I stole Tony away from Ingmar to go to McKenna.
so I guess my report is that it's slowly coming along. It is coming along. I hope people are getting frustrated and
No, that's
taking that.
awkward. So
So
if there's anything that I can do to help you,
yeah,
just let me know.
okay,
Coordinator, organizer, pre-interview people, glad to do it.
great.
Okay, March 25th, dedication of new recreational facilities.
We just heard from the man that knows we're providing refreshments for up to 40 people.
Okay, great. So that'd be for the pickleball courts.
Yeah, pickleball course, we've already spoken with Panera about having coffee, hot chocolate, and I'm gonna call Jim at Turner's to give us juice boxes like we did before breakfast was down.
Okay,
Did you hear, there was a news report about pickleball, so it's there. You know, people can't get on them, and the old people can't get on the damn pickleball courts because the young kids are taking it, and they're, drinking beer and peeing in the woods while they're doing it.
jeez.
Pickleball. It's being at what? The old guys. Yes.
I think it's the kids, I don't know. Could be the old folks, I don't know.
We're being paid.
People
So
are,
that's March 25th. That's next weekend.
oh, God, it's so maybe.
Yeah.
So this is what the, and it's on Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday,
we're
yeah.
working with the activities committee in conjunction with them.
Okay.
For supplying, because they're dedicating the new courts for supplying refreshments because we have our connection.
We're gonna, that is be,
That's gonna be, I think we have to have the stuff over there at 9 in the morning. You're gonna be able to help me with that, Charles?
Potentially.
Potentially. I don't think it's gonna be a long ordeal. I think, you're gonna have probably, I expect a group of about, 15 people to show up. Because, you can only get so many people on the pickleball courts at one time.
Evidently.
So,
We just got, before I came over here, I noticed from Savvy Citizen, the town app. They're calling it as a court sports tournament on Saturday, March 25th from 10 to 12. So it says, join us on Saturday, March 25th for the inaugural court sports tournament at the Devon Park Courts. This event is taking place as a part of the ribbon cutting and grand opening of the newly restored courts.
well,
The ribbon cutting will take place at 10 and there'll be a lesson at 10:30 and the games will follow at 11.
so they're all gonna have 1 hour worth of games.
Yeah.
Because they schedule it from 10 to 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the rain date for that is Saturday, April 1st, also important to note.
Kidding.
No, I'm not. Oh. Okay, old business, intergovernmental agreements,
Yeah, do you mind if I take all 3 of these?
Go for it.
Okay.
And after,
The intergovernmental agreements, we have a draft. We're working through the language of it and I've been working with Mr. O'Malley and the town solicitor. And I'll be submitting that final draft now for approval by town council. Certainly I'll bring it here first and everybody will get a chance to peruse it here first. We had a meeting with Mrs. Eisenreich. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Mrs. Eisenreich was kind enough with Mrs. Clinton and Mr. Tarl to meet with Abby and I with regards to changing the funding mechanism. Right now, with every dollar that we raise, we split 50-50 with and I want to be careful because it just doesn't go to the town. It goes into a fund for capital improvements on this facility. We've offered a couple different ways to do that without taking 50 cents of every dollar. And we're just waiting on direction back from town council on how they want us to proceed for the foreseeable future. And I'll tell this group, prior to the last year, there wasn't a whole lot of heartbeat as far as, raising money and getting involvement. So I understand the hesitancy from town council to dive into this, but I think that we're doing a very good job of raising the bar and getting people involved and getting interest in the Heritage and Cultural Center. So I'm hopeful that they're going to come back with something that will be favorable, more favorable than what we have now. The third item is the conversion of a 501c3 from the McCandless Community Corporation. We're in process, we're in talks with town council, we're in talks with the 501c3, which is now the McCandless Community Corporation. And if we try to do our own 501c3, it would be 9 months per year before we get approval. Being able to repurpose an existing 501c3 means that we would be rewriting the bylaws and renaming the 501c3 so we can utilize it for the purposes that we needed here at the Heritage and Cultural Center. That being said, with a 501c3, you rewrite the bylaws to what everybody's needs are, not just us. So we're going through and determining what the needs are for the town, for the groups that utilize the town facilities. So it's not going to be a one-faceted 501c3. It can accomplish a variety of different things, but we're going to try to accommodate as many facets of the town as we can.
Will that give them the opportunity to decide what's going on here, or?
Well, they
have their
said-
hands in them?
Understand something, Suzanne, you know, the board of town, the council of the town is truly the board of directors for the Heritage and Cultural Center. That being said, we have gained agreement to go out and start the dialogue with other municipalities, changing and trying to morph what we're doing and becoming more of a regional asset. Accessing funding that has never been accessible by this particular entity before. Okay. To call it that we would go out and be totally independent, I don't think you can say that yet, but I think in time you may. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yeah, Ms. Azariah.
Mr. Wall, I'm not as familiar with that corporation as I guess I should be.
Please call me Joe.
Mhm.
Okay,
What?
please call me Joe. We're good.
Okay. Well, you can call me Mary Ann then. The initial purpose of this 501c3 was what? Was it for a community center? Is that what it was, or?
No, it was not. It was for community activities.
Okay, so is there a way that we can get the current bylaws, the 501c3 articles of incorporation, and current board members that we could review while you're in this process?
Well, yeah, I'm sure you could.
We can't. Tricia has tried. She can't.
Well, okay,
I have approached Mr. Byerly at least 6 times in the past year by phone and email to get further information. And well, for a long time, he didn't answer my call. And finally, I have one email from him saying, we never did anything that cost more than $10,000. Our books were never over $10,000. So we never filed a report. And that's all I ever got.
well, I think what you're going to find through this process. Okay, and I've got to, you know, I've got to be very. I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to be a little bit more transparent and a little less political than what this thing has been before. Okay? That's probably the simplest way that I can put it. I can tell you that there are board members that have already resigned from the 501c3 in advent of me being appointed to the board and being elevated during this process. We are working with, and Mrs. Clonan, you can attest to this because we had this discussion the other night after the town council meeting. I am going to be very transparent with the board, with town council, in who we name to this board, why we're naming them to this board. It's going to be a diverse board, and it's going to be a board, and, you know, quite frankly, the bylaws are going to be written so we have 20 board members. Now, there are only 7 voting members, but if we do what we want to do with the Heritage and Cultural Center, we're going to give people a seat at the table that are non-voting members. So,
Mr. Wall, or Joe, I understand what you're planning on doing. I do understand what you're planning on doing. What I want to see is what exists, and I'm not sure why we can't get that documentation.
well,
If Mrs. Cloonan's been asking for it for a while, and that was the thing I asked for today, that we needed to find this. So how do we get it?
Mary Ann, it's not mine to give yet. It
Well,
will
how do we get it?
be in another week, but it's not mine to give yet. So stay tuned.
Okay, but if it's an already existing 501c3, there must be paperwork, right?
I'm sure there is.
Okay, well, we'll keep digging.
I don't know that you can. I mean, I don't know what the regulations are with regards to them just giving you the information that you want. And I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it is too. Okay,
Okay, the bottom line is if you wait a week, I can save you some consternation. Okay,
okay.
the other things under, can I go into the new business?
Yeah.
Did I satisfy you guys, Mrs. Clun and Mary Ann?
I think, I know, Joe, I think a lot of the questions of the A and B as it comes to approval or consideration by council is going to be dependent on the questions that Mary Ann has asked. Because, as council, we represent, our residents. And so we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't ask these questions and want to know about things like structure, board members, finance, things like that. So that's why we're kind of saying if we can focus on the C of this set of topics, then we can move forward.
Trish, I'm moving as fast as I can, as you well know. I am moving look, we have gone light speed compared to what the normal process would be to get a 501c3. And, on the other hand of this, you have somebody that's seeking to resurrect a dormant 501c3 with the promise of transparency. That you haven't had a view into any of this stuff in 5 years. All I can do is to prove myself. What's going to happen over the next few weeks.
Okay, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing all that and the plan for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I move on to new business?
Please do.
You have all had the opportunity to view the packet for Shining Light Award winners. Do we want to call it the Shining Light Award winners of Shining Star? I mean, does anybody have another verbiage of that? What do you guys think, Trish and Mary Ann? You want to call this the Shining Star? You want to call it the Shining Light Awards?
Oh, I think that's really up to you all. I think either
Yeah.
one works really well to me. And I think,
You're part of this now. Mary Ann.
well, I mean, shining light or shining stars. Well, are they the star? Would the event be called Shining Light or would the awardees be called Shining Light?
No, the award is the gala, the Heritage and Cultural Center Dinner Dance Gala. We are honoring 7 individuals for their dedication and volunteerism throughout the town.
Okay,
The award
Well-
would be either the Shining Light or Shining Star.
personally, I like Shining Star, but please, it's whatever you want. Shining Star sounds like a person to me. And that's what they are. It's for the people, right? So that you could put stars up and put their names on it. For Shining Light, you can shine lights on them. So
Good point, good point.
That's a very good one.
Trish, what do you think?
I really don't have an opinion on this one. Sorry.
So did you guys see the awards?
Yeah, they look nice.
Good. I need the approval to go ahead and manufacture the packets and to order the award. The awards are gonna be $94 a piece. There are 7 of them.
I move that we approve Joe's work here and his going on to actually purchase these awards and put together the packet and all.
Second,
All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
by the way, let me just say one quick thing. This event sounds wonderful and I can't wait to buy my tickets. And I think having awardees is perfect. So kudos on whoever put this all together, because it sounds like a great evening.
You know what?
It's Joe's
I'm
brain.
looking forward to you buying a table there and not just having.
I'll try.
The next thing that I wanted to talk about is the program. This is a sample program of what I had done with a previous fundraiser that I had done. And I'd like to do the same thing. I'd like to have a program for this. We do have somebody that will print it for free. Okay. So that's already been taken care of.
I
It
would
will
love
look
to design.
very similar. Guess what? You go, girl. You go, girl, because you're gonna be responsible for all the content. And if you looked at the packets, we're asking each awardee for 6 pictures and a packet of information as far as what their involvement has been.
Where's the page with the? I know. Okay, well, we can figure it out later. That's really semantics.
And then,
Here it is.
I have to sign off. Thank you, guys.
thanks,
Thanks,
Marianne.
Marianne.
Thank you.
Just wanted to go through some of the things that we have already done for the evening. We've already gotten a donation of 6 sheet cakes from Patty Cake Bakery.
Nice.
Okay. We already have contacted DJ Dave Dutko. $350 for the evening. Okay. And I don't know if anybody knows Pam Serrano. Pam Serrano used to be on Channel 2. Her daughter was in a gymnastics accident. She lives here locally, and she's been, I don't know that she's still paralyzed, but she was paralyzed from the waist down. And she's worked very hard. And Pam is the Assistant Director of Communications for the Diocese of Pittsburgh. But she lives here locally. And I've been friends with Pam for a good number of years. And she has expressed an interest in being our Mistress of Ceremonies.
Great.
It would either be her or Larry Richard. Pam Serrano is going to be a lower fee, obviously, than Mr. Richard. But we got to decide which direction that we want to go into, because I want to solidify that pretty quickly.
Can we have a day to do some research, because I'm not familiar with.
No, okay,
I know Larry Richard, but I do not know.
sure. Pam Serrano, she used to be on Channel 2.
Channel 2.
Joe, I think both of those options are very good. I've seen both of them speak and MC functions.
Well,
Either way, you've got a winner.
well, there's one other person that we talked about, and that was Josh Taylor from Channel 2. He's a sportscaster. But I really believe that we're in very good stead. We started off with Janelle Hall and John Meyer, because they're husband and wife, and they both have been at Channel 4, but they're going to be out of town over the holiday. So,
I think Larry Richard is probably the biggest name draw you might have, but I know I've been to events and he probably, I have a feeling gets paid very well for those events. So
it's the difference of about $300 between the two of them.
yeah,
And quite frankly, you're gonna pay an honorarium no matter who you bring in. They're not gonna work that hard for this event. And let me explain the format. We have a cocktail party that's going to start at 5. We have dinner that will start at 6. At 6:45, we're gonna start the awards for the award winners. By 7:15, we hope to turn it over to the DJ. I have put in the packet that the award winners have no longer than 2 minutes to say thank you and to accept the awards. If they go longer than that, we are going to play them off with some sort of music. Okay, I've seen people go on 20 minutes at these things. And it's like, you want to get a hook, just pull them
Well,
off.
like that.
So just want this to be an enjoyable evening. Part of the enjoyment is the diversity in it. The awards, recognizing some very wonderful people for their contributions to the town, but doing it quickly and doing it efficiently, and let people enjoy one another, and bring your dancing shoes, Suzanne. Dick is gonna tour you around the dance floor. Tickets are $75 a piece, $750 per table. There's gonna be tables of 10.
Looking forward to it.
Do I have everybody's approval to make up? Well, I'm gonna get with Kevin Kennedy
Mhm.
to make up the tickets,
Okay,
okay? Is that gonna be okay?
yeah.
And I'd like to make up a logo that includes this
Mhm.
for the awards.
Yeah.
For all the documentation that we're doing.
Yeah, so it all looks uniform.
Yes,
Yes, I love that idea. Okay,
that's all I have, Madam Chairperson.
thank you. Any other new business? Anyone?
So,
No?
Walker's thinking, you know what he's thinking? I was thinking about the bratwurst that I got.
Everything you mentioned, the only thing that gone through is that.
Right, any?
Yeah, there is some, but we didn't talk about community day at all.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday we met with Brian and the Offmans, Libby Blackburn, and Larry Steckel about Community Day. St. Alexis, St. Aidan's is going to loan us their booths to use this year. So that's gonna be wonderful. We're also planning to do a parade hopefully from Brave Cinemas all the way to the backside of Town Hall. So we had a lot of good conversations yesterday and a lot of exciting plans, and this is gonna be a wonderful event.
This is gonna be our coming out party. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, coming out of COVID, nobody knew what to expect last year. I think this year's gonna be a blast.
Yeah.
Yes, it always was a very big deal.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it's
we're hoping to
big
bring back the pomp and circumstance with the parade. and
Parade down and kind of something.
Yeah, like North Valley.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
We're
Fire
gonna
trucks
North
and-
Allegheny, we're gonna talk to Avalon, we're gonna talk to fire. We're gonna talk to little leagues, the soccer teams. We want as many people in the parade.
Every dance troop around. Yeah. Any public comment? Anyone online?
You have any comment, Trish?
No, nothing else. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you ladies for being here today. It was lovely. Lovely of you to come.
Meetings
anything
are
else?
fun.
So I have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor? Oh, thank you.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Look, did you guys have to do those?